Thought you could get away, didn't you? Well, nothing gets away from the craft hand. Now I'm going to show you how to make this cool superhero. Let me put him down over here. And then I'm going to show you what you'll need. A toilet roll. Yeah. A piece of toilet paper. A small piece of normal paper. Brushes. Some paint. Markers. Ruler. What else? Yeah. Cutting knife, some glue. Yeah, I think that's about it. Okay, come on closer and let's get started. We start with the toilet roll, folding it, folding the top bit, the top sides rather, in like this. Look at this, look at this. Fold nice and slowly. Don't rush it. So that the two ends will meet in the middle. So slowly we just move them in like this. Keep on squeezing a bit here and there. And then try to make a nice curve like that. So you got to keep on squeezing and pushing and using your nails a bit maybe. So that these two halves meet in the middle. Now, sometimes they overlap, but if they do, that's okay. I mean, you know, overlapping is all right too. But the best is if you can make them meet in the middle. So you gotta work at it a bit. Now, when you're starting to feel that the shape is good, look at that. A nice curve here, and nice points here at the tip. That's when you got it right. Then, get your glue out. And then put quite a lot of glue in the middle, quite a lot. And then use your finger to spread the glue out. The glue will also strengthen the tips to make them stronger and more durable. If there are any cracks like this, you know, put some glue in there, squeeze a bit, try to close the cracks and make it nice and solid. There. You see, when the glue dries, it will sort of fill in the cracks here and make everything a bit more smooth. Now, the way to hold these parts together is to use a little bit of tape. And then stick it on this side and then squeeze them together and then stick it on the other side. Don't stick the tape too hard because then it's hard to get it off again, because this tape will be removed when the glue is dry. So wipe off the excess like that. Stick in a little bit if something sticks out. There. Now it should be a perfect curved shape here. Like this. Here's one that I made earlier. I have removed the tape. Now you can see it's all dry here. And the glue has filled in the little gaps here. You see, when it's dry, you can also use your fingers and your nails to sort of shape it a bit. Now it's easier to shape actually. So if you're not happy with how the shape has dried, you can squeeze and shape it a bit after it's dry. So now I'm squeezing in here, making sure that I get these really sharp tips on each side. There. Now we are ready to open up the mouth. I use a ruler and a marker, and I measured 2 cm from the top of the curve here down 2 cm there, and then I draw a straight line, well, as straight as I can. So straightish sort of line here, about this big. And then I measure 3 cm from the end there. 1, 2, 3. I gotta do it a little bit longer. Oh, now I see that my line isn't really straight either, so I straighten it up a bit. And I make it a little bit longer. Is it 3 cm now? Yeah, it's just about 3 cm. So that's what I need. Then I take my cutting knife and like that, so it's a long blade there. Now be really careful when you cut with the cutting knife. Preferably get an adult to help you. And in any case, cut really nice and slowly. Back and forth like this. Along the line. See? And don't cut everything in one go. Cut several times. Because if you cut several times, eventually the knife will go through in a very safe and good way. So now I stop right at the end there. And I do the same thing here. Now I have a nice straight cut. Then I'm going to open the mouth. Look at this. I start pushing it in here. At the same time, I squeeze a bit on the sides and I use my fingernail to shape the mouth. The mouth should be, and you can also control by sticking a finger in here, you can also control how far down the mouth should go. So now I'm squeezing a bit to sort of try to shape it into as nice mouth shape as possible, like this, like that. Squeeze a bit on the side. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty good mouth. And now we are ready to paint. I'm going to use a bit of light yellowy brown paint, sort of slightly toilet colored paint, and paint the whole thing basically. Inside the mouth, on the edges, on top. By the way, make sure you get quite a bit of paint inside the little cracks. Paint somehow evens out the little cracks on top there. So it's quite nice to get a lot of paint in there. Now here's a little trick for you. You know, when you're painting a thing like this, sooner or later you will get paint on your fingers, because you need to hold the thing somewhere. But with a roll you can put your fingers in like that, so that you avoid getting paint on your fingers. So you paint the whole thing. Usually you gotta do it twice. That means you give it one coat of paint, then you dry it, then you give it another coat of paint. Because usually one coat of paint doesn't really cover the whole thing. That means you can see the color from underneath. So just be patient when you paint. There you go. We put it here to dry. And here's one that I painted earlier. Now it's all dry. So we can put this away. And we can continue working on this one. I get my blue paint out, and with the blue paint we are going to paint the mask. I'm using bright blue, not only bright but very strong blue. You see, this brown is a bit yellowy and a bit light. That means the blue paint is darker and stronger in contrast. That means between this blue and this yellowy brown, there's a nice contrast, and that's what we need to make it look good. So I'm going to go carefully around the mouth. I'm using quite a thin brush, so that I can get a thin line down here. The line should be about this thick, and then go up on each side. Well, let me do the mouth first. Here's the mouth. Okay, see, the line goes up, so it goes up and up on both sides. It goes up like this, and then it go straight across the back until the paint meet on the back. See, by doing it like that, we get a nice shape to the mask. These are acrylic paints, and when they dry, they turn to plastic, basically, same like the glue. So they give that strong layer around the cardboard, making it strong. Acrylics are water soluble when they're wet, and then when they dry, they are waterproof. So they're really, really good to use. Okay, doing the last bit up here now. And the same as the body, it needs to be painted twice to get a really even and nice strong layer. So now you have the mouth in here, you have the mask all around the head, like this, like that. And let's get in that I painted earlier. That is dry now. Here's the dry one. Okay, let's clear this away. This is painted twice, and look how even and strong this looks now. That's the way to do it. Okay, let's continue painting. We'll stick with the small brushes because we are talking details here. We get the red out. That's for the mouth. Okay, so we start in here. Be really steady on your hands. Yeah, and then you twist your brush a bit there. Okay, how does that look? Yeah, I think I'll make the red, the red inside of the mouth a little bit bigger. Basically, what I'm painting now is the inside of the superhero's mouth. It's a little bit tricky because I don't want to touch the upper lip there. And when that's dry, you should also paint that twice. Basically everything you paint twice to make it strong. Okay, next color, light yellow. Ooh, that's a nice color. And look how well this color go with the body color. Now I'm gonna draw the superhero logo on the chest. So we start with painting a little circle. About this big, like that, and then we let it dry, and then we give it another coat. Now it's dry, so that we can add another layer. We want this thing to look good and sharp. There. Now, while this layer is drying, I'm going to show you how to draw the eye. And the eyes are two tiny circles about this big. With a black circle around it. Basically, I'm making the line, the outer line, really nice and thick. That is to create a very strong, dramatic eyes. And making the black color provide contrast between the white eyes and the brown body. Then we'll cut them out. Now when you cut, well, the best is if you can get help from an adult. If you need to cut yourself, make sure that you always cut away from where you're holding your fingers. See, I'm holding here and I'm cutting away from my fingers so that if I should go, oops, see, it doesn't cut my fingers. So you always cut away from your finger. And do it nice and slowly. Don't rush, because I don't want you to cut yourself. Now, if you have a scissors, use the scissors. In fact, I mean, I'm so used to cutting, but when I use the scissors here, I notice that it's actually almost easier. But it depends. I mean, if the eyes were a bit bigger, or you have shapes that are more straight, then the knife is actually easier than the scissors. So you have to decide. There. Now let's stick them on. In with a bit of glue. I take a little bit of glue on on my fingertip a little bit, and on it goes. Now you can decide if you want your eyes further apart or closer together, higher up, lower down. Take some time to decide which one looks good to you. Now don't worry about spilling a bit of glue, because when it's dry it's clear. If it looks messy, just use a bit of blue to touch up again. As soon as the yellow is dry, we can paint in the logo. For the logo, I'm using a small pointy brush and the same blue paint as I used for the mask. Now, just a little bit of paint on the tip of the brush like that, not too much. In fact, point it a bit like that, so that you get a very fine line. Now, what shall I call him? How about Toilet Man? Because he comes from the toilet. So the logo will be, pay attention to this, dip again, W, and can you guess what? C, yeah, WC. That's a nice logo. Now, I start with a thin line and then I make it a little bit thicker. This is precision work, ladies and gentlemen, so be careful and keep a steady hand. Notice how I support my hand against the table. You see, I support this against the table and my hand against the table, so that there's no shaky, out of control movements. There, WC, Toilet Man. And now for the cape. And what do you think I'll make the cape from? Well, how about toilet paper? Yay! What else? Okay, a piece of toilet paper. You can make it shorter, longer, it's up to you. I think this length is quite nice. I make a little fold about this thick, and on this fold I put a little stripe of glue. There, carefully I take the stripe and I, in the middle, oh, a bit higher up, that was a bit too low, higher up, there, I wrap the cape around, straight around the neck of our superhero, like that and like this. Never mind if you spill a little glue. When it's dry, you can paint over it with blue color. Then I hold it until the paper starts to stick down well. Okay, it's reasonably dry. Then we lift it up and we unfold the cape. And by magic, the cape stands up by itself. Yeah! Woohoo! Toilet Man to the rescue! Oh no! It's Toilet Man! Let's escape!